Originally I was going to make this video be uploaded yesterday, but I had other things to attend to, so I'll make up for it later, and enjoy this late video. Okay, today's MVC related video, I'm going to talk about Marvel's side of the roster for MVC 3, starting with Wolverine. Wolverine is one of the people that you cannot have Marvel superheroes game without, because he's been in every single one of them. Gameplay wise, he seems a little slower, but besides that, he plays the same. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's just like Ryu and Chun-Li. He's been in every Marvel vs. Capcom game, so we know how he plays like, and etc. The only problem I actually do have with the character is that his theme sounds like freaking Power Rangers. Don't believe me? Go see for yourself. You know what? Just like Wolverine, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hulk, Magneto, and Dr. Doom, and Iron Man, I'm just gonna repeat myself for the last time and say you can't have a game relating to Marvel superheroes without having those characters. Now that that's out of the way for almost half the roster, let's talk about the next character, Iron Man. Now Iron Man plays a little more different from what I believe I remember from the trailers. I just felt that in the first few games he played like a keep away character. Before this, it feels like he plays as both a keep away and close combat guy. I'll just have to see for myself to get more thoughts on him. Hulk seems more technical than the last few games he was in, and that's not a problem at all. His theme sounds alright, and his voice has been changed to the usual Hulk instead of that regular talking voice. Overall, he seems like a decent character, and much more improved than his feel in the last few games, so I'm interested in using him. Sorry for not saying more. Captain America I can't really say that much about because he's just decent. I mean, I like his inclusion, but don't be expecting a massive paragraph talking about him being put. Anyway, get on to subject. His voiceover sounds less, I don't know how to put this, but annoying. And his moveset seems to have more energy. Not that it was bad or anything. I just feel as if he's worth playing more than he was back then. In conclusion, he seems more interesting than he was in the past games. Let's hope he is when I play as him. Deadpool is of course like Dante. When finding out the game was legit, the majority of people demanded he be put into the game, and luckily he's in. Now Deadpool is of course just so freaking epic, maybe the best character in the game, personality wise and gameplay wise. Do you know why? 1. He's voiced by the man who gave us voices of characters such as Nathan Drake, Desmond Miles, and some guy from Naruto. Plus the dialogue he gives is groovy. And 2. The gameplay he gives us trumps every other character in the game. I mean, he uses a Shoryuken, and his hypo combo consists of beating your character's ass with the life bars and special bars, and what he says at the end of each fight makes you want to play as him even more. Unfortunately, I won't be playing him on my main team because I know everybody will be using him. Luckily, he'll be a part of my second. Thor is a character that definitely deserved to be put in because all the other famous Avengers were in the game. Looking at his trailer, boy does he look difficult to use. I mean, he seemed to be the slowest character in the game with his movements and attacks, and I think I'm going to suck with him because of that. Not that I'm going to avoid using him and all. Also, his team fits him. Overall, I'm just glad he's in the game because he got bit in the ass by not being included in the earlier games. When Magneto was announced to be a playable character, I bet a whole bunch of MVC fans were raging because they remember how broken he was in MVC 2. In a way, I was slightly angry, but considering he's a staple to Marvel supervillains, I should just accept him. Despite having the same moveset and being able to fly around, I believe Capcom has nerfed him, shown through streams of people playing the demo. Thank God he's nerfed. In other words, I think he can't pull off those cheap combos and crap people used in tournaments. So the final verdict on Magneto is like this. If he is actually nerfed, excellent decision Capcom. If he's still going to be the same broken character, hurry up and balance him by patching the game. It's pretty ironic that Spider-Man wasn't confirmed earlier because they were confirming another character along with him relating to speed and all this other type of stuff. But as long as he's in the game, it doesn't really matter when he will be confirmed. Besides the point, I like how he plays with the ability to use his web to go from side to side. His ultimate web throw seems like it has better accuracy, and it feels as if he's more of a brawler type than what he was back then. Spider-Man has been an awesome character to use, and let's hope Capcom shows more respect to the series by giving us Venom, Green Goblin, or other villains as DLC. Dr. Doom looks strong in the trailer, and he seems more agile. His moveset also looks like a pain in the ass, and if somebody's playing as Doom and gets their ass trapped in the corner, you're fucked. Also, what the heck is up with his theme? It sounds so fucking calm and non-villainous. Besides the point, I can't really say much because as much as I like his inclusion, and as much as he seems badass, I don't know what to say next, sorry. Dormammu is a character I'm basically mixed on. I like the fact he brings variety to a list of Marvel supervillains, and the fact he's part of Doctor Strange's universe is a great addition as well. But after seeing his trailer, he plays like a bitch. I mean, he has all these types of keep away moves, and if you combine that with another type of projectile, you've got a move as shitty as combining Iceman with Blackheart Assist. Still, I can't judge him yet until I try him out for myself. What better way to add all 4 members of the Fantastic Four as well as add an extra villain to the game than by including Super Skrull. As for how he plays, his moveset is killer and cheap, but don't worry people, because in return for his moveset, the character isn't as agile as say Deadpool or She-Hulk, which makes him pretty balanced. But overall, excellent decision developers, because the Fantastic Four would just be a waste of 4 spaces. Also, his hyper combo is just so badass. Now some people basically consider X-23 to be a waste of space because she's just basically another Wolverine. And I understand that because the final roster has way too many fucking X-Men and we don't need another Wolverine. But besides the point, I personally like her, and that kinda feels like she plays a little bit like Spider-Man mixed with Wolverine, mixed with Ori from the King of Fighters. I don't know how, but it does. Also another thing I like about her is her hyper combo seems impossible to miss, and I just love her theme. She may be a waste of space to some, but I personally like her and the way she plays. That's why I'm gonna put her in my main team. When people first look at MODOK, they think, why the fuck did they put this guy in the game? Well, I personally think this villain deserves to be in the game, no matter how stupid he looks. For a reason being is, he's as old as the rest of the well-known ones, and it's interesting in how he plays like. He uses these tentacles for his hyper combo, the way he moves looks silly, and one of his specials consists of him firing a ray beam. Another thing to add relating to the character himself is that I love how his theme sounds so funky and techno, and the voice actor is another Bleach voice actor, and the way he voices MODOK is just so funny and enjoyable. Let's hope he is not broken, however. When I first saw Shuma Gorath, the first thing I thought was, people don't give a crap about him, so you wasted time with him. He wasn't that great in the last few MVC games, and he seemed like a complicated character, and because of that, he just collected dust. But I saw the screenshots of him, and now I'm somewhat impressed with him. Overall, we will soon find out how he's like, because just like Joe, I can't get an overall opinion on him because he has no trailer. Taskmaster is a badass villain that caught me by surprise. According to a little information on the character, he uses a whole bunch of weapons and skills from our Marvel superheroes. To name a few of them, he imitates Captain America's shield use, Spider-Man's web swings, and surprisingly, the Punisher's gunplay, and that right there gives him some big points in my book. His moveset looks decent, except for one thing, which is a cheap combo somebody can make with putting your opponent up in the air and continue a web swing. It looks that way in the trailer. Also, his theme song sounds way too hero-y. which I personally do not understand. Still, I can get past these two things because Taskmaster is just so interesting. As much as I like X-Toy 3, I missed on the inclusion of She-Hulk. I like that they have added a character from the Incredible Hulk universe, but I just can't get into her. Maybe it's because this was like a forewarning to be prepared for a broken character, or maybe it's just because there are more interesting characters they could have put. Not saying she's not an original or anything, but I don't know. Besides the point, I love how she fights because she feels like a lightweight pro wrestler with the drop kicks and sliding your opponent onto the ground, and her hyper combo is just so interesting. Overall, I like the way she fights, but I don't know what it is about her to appeal to me and stuff. As much as I like Jean Grey / Phoenix, I think we should be done with playing X-Men characters. So in other words, I basically find her a waste of space, but I'll still just accept her for who she is. Now according to the trailer, and from many people, she's pretty broken. She has low health, and once a person using Phoenix fills up their bar all the way up to level 5, they're fucked. Besides that, her moves kinda feel somewhat so-called cheap or broken, like Zero's, and I'm just not liking her because of that. Basically, I just can't really stand her because of her gameplay. The only two things that make her acceptable are basically being Jean Grey and her theme song fitting her. Now the next two characters I'm going to talk about will be grouped together in this part of the video, and you'll understand why. So until now, the roster seemed to be pretty decent and balanced, but then suddenly two characters had to be announced. You know who those two characters are? Well, my anticipation for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 dropped when I saw these two characters, Storm and Sentinel. I knew it might have happened because they were leaked, and boy am I in rage mode right now. Now I know they nerfed Storm and she's much more slower and less broken, but she still has that same moveset, which I'll be pretty wary of. Anyway, despite nerfing, she's a waste of space. Now while I was slightly lenient on Storm, Sentinel is a piece of shit. He still has the same cheap ass moves, same cheap ass tactics, and he's a fucking asshole in the trailer. Don't believe me? Then go look. I know they can patch him to balance it, but he still is a waste of space. In conclusion to his dumb fuck Sentinel, Capcom and Marvel, if you're going to add another villain, leave Sentinel a fuck out and put somebody like Loki or Venom. Last character to talk about is the boss Galactus. When it comes to talking about him, I'm pretty pissed off right now. It's not because he's the boss, it's not because he's much of a bitch as such, it's because he was leaked and later on got a trailer showing how he fights. Bullshit, Capcom. Quit spoiling and leaking characters every fucking minute. Now that I'm done with that mini rant, I kinda felt he was going to be the boss because of two things. One is the story, which pretty much gave it away, and two is that they want to make the game very epic, and how they do that is by finding an enemy that seems to be so freaking powerful, and that's what they did. The trailers make him seem like he'll perform these fuck you in the ass moves, and I have no problem considering it's Galactus. To wrap this part up, be prepared because this guy makes Abyss and Onslaught look like a low tier character. So those were my thoughts on Marvel's side of the roster. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.